They turned fried chicken into a racist joke. And that's because they were jealous. Okay. So this image, when I saw this image, I was just like, what do you mean? Now I have heard of the fried chicken stereotype of them saying like, oh, it's only black people that, are eating fried chicken or something like that, which is very untrue. But the image they were putting it on postcards to sort of depict black people as being greedy, glutinous and very messy, and all sorts of things. I mean, that's where the watermelon stereotype came from and other stereotypes came from. But today we're concentrating on the fried chicken stereotype. Now, I love fried chicken. You're watching me, you may love fried chicken. I mean, it's a great source of food, right? So everyone loves fried chicken, but when I saw that image, I was just like, what's the history? Where is this coming from? And that's how I ended up doing some research. I got these clips that are going to be educating us, because I am a student of life. I'm here to learn. I do believe you're here to learn, or you're here to also educate me, which I definitely love. So let's watch these clips.
How old were you when you found out the fried chicken stereotype was rooted in jealousy? While they were boiling pale gray meat with nothing but salt, black people were frying, seasoning, and selling chicken, and they turned it into a joke to shame the success that came with it. Black people couldn't even fry chicken, gang. How old were you? 2 years old? They was jealous of everything we did. We sold watermelon. They made it a stereotype. This is why people make fun of chicken and watermelon, when really we put this together. We made chicken for real. They say they was boiling that chicken. We seasoned it up, we spiced it up, we put the razzle dazzle to it, and they sold it back in the day and made something good happen out of it. And here they go, whoever they is, and making it a stereotype. We couldn't do shit. Damn.
Only black people love fried chicken, right? False. Everybody loves fried chicken. But let me tell you how that stereotype got stuck to us. Basically, after slavery, a lot of black people started selling fried chicken to make money. It became a hustle. It became the way to become independent. But certain people didn't like it. It made them feel uncomfortable. So the white media started mocking it through minstrel shows, blackface, and racist ads. They even had a restaurant called COON Chicken Inn with a big blackface as an entrance. And also they had Shambos, I believe, and they used racist ads to sell their food. So basically, what they laughed at about black people, they used that to make money. So basically, black people turned selling fried chicken into a business, but America turned it into a punchline. And this is not me playing victim, I'm just spreading truth. Did you guys know this? If you did, let me know. And I know y'all still eating fried chicken, because I am.
Where did the stereotype of fried chicken come from with black people? The first ever recipe of fried chicken was published in 1747 by a woman named Hannah Glaze, which was an English cook. According to history, she's the first person ever to come up with the recipe of fried chicken in her cookbook called The Art of Cookery, Made Plain and Easy. It was also traced back to West Africa. The slave trade led to Africans being brought to work on southern plantations. Most enslaved people were unable to raise expensive meats, but were allowed to keep chicken. Just like the slave masters only allowed enslaved people to grow watermelon. So it's very plain and clear where the stereotype of black people and watermelon come from. It wasn't until the 18th century when Scottish immigrants brought the tradition of deep frying chicken to America. But that still don't explain where the stereotype come from. That means we have to go back, all the way back to a movie called The Birth of a Nation. If you look at the movie, there's a scene where there's these congressmen that was supposed to be led by African Americans. They was depicted as black, loud, messy, lazy, drunk people. And one of them was eating chicken, fried chicken. And just like this movie was called Birth of a Nation, this was the birth of stereotypes. Let's depict black people like they're loud, messy people who don't have no class. Yeah, they did a real good job painting that picture. And from there, in 1925, Maxon Lester opened a restaurant called Coon Chicken Inn. If you don't know, coon was considered a racial slur to black people. But yeah, they had a restaurant called Coon Chicken Inn, and to get in, you have to walk inside of a mouth of a black man. And black people was considered waiters, serving white families fried chicken with biscuits and stuff. But yeah, this was a real restaurant. Can you imagine being around that time and you seeing something like that? You seeing a depiction that's supposed to be disrespecting you and your people? It's like, bro, I can't even believe we had people like this that existed and still exist to this day. That's pure evil. That's demonic. But even though this restaurant was doing good business and they was opening up more, it was closed down in 1957 due to it being so offensive as years went by. Until this day, they still using black people for advertisement to sell their product. And this is supposed to represent a mammy character, this woman. Do you hear how she sound when she be talking about the chicken? That's a mammy character. No different than the ancient mama advertisement they were using to sell the pancakes. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Enjoy your chicken.
Fried chicken and watermelon didn't start as jokes. They were weaponized to shame black success after slavery. Let's talk about it. And before you get upset with me, these are not my personal opinions. These are facts that you can research. Let's talk about it. After emancipation, newly freed black people started growing watermelon. It was a symbol of self-sufficiency. And fried chicken is something black women did. They sold while they were traveling, working. It traveled well, didn't spoil easily. But white supremacists couldn't handle it. So they made fun of it. They created the stereotype using minstrel shows, cartoons, jokes. They turned economic success and independence and resilience into a racial slur. Watermelon became a punchline. Fried chicken became a stereotype. It was deliberate. It was done to make us seem lazy, uncivilized, greedy, all for participating in survival and cultural enjoyment of food. So no, it's not just a joke. It's anti-black propaganda. Learn it so we can unlearn the hate.
Let's talk about how fried chicken was racialized to keep black people from voting. And although I love fried chicken as a black woman, you'll never see me eating it in front of white people. For many black Americans, eating fried chicken in front of white people is an uncomfortable experience. The thing is, the concept of black people eating fried chicken is a stereotype that's rooted in oppression. Originally, there was no negative stereotype between black people and chicken. It was a cheap meat and it was readily accessible to black enslaved people. Enter the film The Birth of a Nation in 1915. The film showed lazy, animal-like black people, which were really white people in blackface, eating chicken and ruining the country when they were given the right to vote. Black people stopped being seen with fried chicken to prove that they deserved to vote and that their voices needed to be heard. Don't ever make jokes associating black people with fried chicken. That's rooted in pain.
Where did the racial stereotype of fried chicken come from? I'll tell you. So fried chicken made its way from West Africa to America, more specifically the South, during slavery. A lot of time the slaves weren't allowed to keep expensive meats, but they could have chicken. Now it started getting its racial stereotype in 1915 when the silent film The Birth of a Nation came out. This film basically just paints the KKK as saviors, but there's a scene where they're in a legislation hall, there's black elected officials, and it's just painting them as this picture of uncivilized. They're barefoot, they're drinking, and eating fried chicken. This also perpetuated the idea that black people shouldn't be allowed to hold official positions or be allowed to vote. In 1920, a chain of restaurants on the West Coast started to roll out called Coon Chicken Inn. A coon is a really offensive term for an African American. This chain lasted from 1925 to 1957, but definitely pushed that racial stereotype.
At the Coon Chicken Inn, we aim to please the best 100% mammy-made family-style meals. You can taste the love.
I like the white meat. I'm a breast man.
We just love it here.
All right, guys. Wow, guys, we've learned something today. We have definitely learned something today, and all I can say is some people are not okay upstairs to jump to conclusions like that, to try to discriminate or to try to take away someone's power by using a certain word or a certain habit that they may have, to use it against them. It's not okay. But yeah, guys, we've come to the end of this episode. Please follow me on all my social media platforms at Janita Maya. Hit the bell for notifications, subscribe to all the nice things. I'll see you in the next one, and tell me what stereotype is out there that I need to know of, that I should do a video on.